Hey everybody and welcome to Chairman of the Board. Today I'm talking about The Mind, which is a 2 to 4 player game that has received a lot of buzz this year. At least a lot of a debate, because some people have been really high on this and a lot of people have kind of tried to discredit it because it is a very, very simple game. It was actually nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, which is like a game of the year in France, I believe. It didn't win, but the fact that it was even nominated for that is one hell of an achievement, considering how the game actually works. If you're not familiar with the game, basically it's just a pack of cards labelled from 1 to 100. The cards are distributed amongst all players, and then you've basically got to try play them in order, in chronological order, without kind of breaking the chronologicalness of that. And it sounds very simple, but you're not allowed to communicate in any way whatsoever. You kind of just got to try to look in each other's eyes and try to figure out who is going to play their card when and where. It's one of those games where you think, how didn't I think of that? Because, especially because it's done so well. It's so simple. But you know what? I was... when I first heard about this, it was getting all this kind of, all this kind of debate about, is this a game? Is it not a game? Is it an activity? And so on. I was kind of in that kind of negative camp because I kind of read the rules and thought, surely this can't be serious. So I kind of, turned my back on it a bit. I wasn't interested. And then I was at a games night and I was stuck playing some really boring game, and another table were playing The Mind. And they were having an absolutely wonderful time. And the whole time I was looking over my shoulder saying, oh, I wish I was playing with them. And you know what? I gave it a punt because I was going on holiday. I wanted something small to play. And I have to say, it is such good fun. What a great little game this actually is. And much to my, to my surprise, and I was actually very happy to be proved wrong, that this game is really good fun. It really, as I said, it's so simple, but the pure kind of tension that goes with each card placement is so good. It's really tense, and it can actually be really excruciating because sometimes, the jumps between the numbers are going to be quite small, and they're going to be quite, you can quite comfortably take the punt in saying, maybe there's a 16 and you take a punt to a 20. But sometimes, like, the gaps between the numbers between the players is like, 30 or 40 places higher, and you just do not know if you should be putting your card down or other players should be putting theirs down. And that tension is so pure. It's just constantly very gratifying when things do pay off. I like the kind of cooperativeness of this, and that you are kind of fighting against the game, trying to get through all those levels, because at level 1 of the game you kind of have 1 card each, level 2 you have 2 cards each, so it escalates nicely and you can keep challenging yourself, trying to beat your last record. The game scales very well. I played this with my girlfriend a lot and we really enjoyed this at 2 players. I played this with my game group and we really enjoyed this too. So, it's one of those games where you think this is so silly, but you know what? If you're not having a good time playing this, I'd be surprised, because it is such good fun. And at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for. That's why we do our hobby, is for fun. And considering the game is played in silence as well, it is actually quite social, because when you'll find that you'll start the game really disjointed, really kind of all over the place, constantly losing your lives, and then before you know it, you're really in sync and start playing all your cards in order. And it's really quite creepy actually sometimes how things do work out, because you'll both like maybe have a card that's you and your someone else on your team is like have 1 card off each other. So I might have like a 67 and someone else has a 68. And we just so happen to play them in order, and it's just very kind of satisfying when that does happen, and when it goes off without a hitch. Really kind of instantly rewarding game, and it's kind of very fascinating how it works. So yeah, a lot of this is done on instinct. There's not a lot of strategy or anything that goes into it, of course, but you've got to be very kind of patient, but not too patient, and I like that about it. Very simply, designed. This guy, Wolfgang Warsch, is really kind of hitting a lot of home runs at the moment. He's got a lot of games that have been coming out, and all of them have been very well received. It plays nice and quickly. You'll probably find yourself playing again and again and again because it is got that kind of addicting feel to it. Very, very punchy, so quick, no downtime at all because you're constantly concentrating on that pile of cards. You might have a bunch of cards in a row and you might have to sit back for a while, but that tension of when you should play your card keeps you engaged the whole game. So there's loads of good uptime, and that's faultless in a way. As I said, replayability wise, it's got that addicting feel to it. You'll constantly want to try this with new people, and this really is a game that anybody can play. And a lot of, I think a lot of kind of reviewers, such as myself, are kind of guilty of saying that this game is like accessible to everybody, and maybe sometimes they're not quite, because some concepts in board games nowadays are very foreign to, to people who aren't into the hobby whatsoever. But this one is just so kind of visceral, it's so pure, and honestly, you cannot misinterpret the rules here. So that's one big praise for this, because I think that's probably one of the biggest kind of factors that led to it being a nominee for the Spiel des Jahres. Player interaction, again, very weird how the interaction works. You just kind of find yourself getting into sync, and when it does pay off together, you'll find yourself high-fiving around the table. It's very, very good, and very, very entertaining. Aesthetically, the game is literally just a bunch of cards labelled from 1 to 100, but it is what it is. No problem there. Cards are nice and clear, pretty good quality. They have got kind of black borders, so you do find that they get chipped a bit as you shuffle the cards, but no big issue there. The cards are of a decent quality, so no issues there at all. The theme of the game is, near enough non-existent. I can see why they've gone with the mind thing because of that kind of that subliminal kind of mind reading of each other, who's going to play their card when. So it fits quite nicely, and it's just an absolute breeze to set up. Literally shuffle the cards, deal them out, and get started. So overall, The Mind is very good fun, a great game and a great experience for for any gaming group. You can play this with anybody, and I think the laughs are almost guaranteed. As again, it has that addicting feel. You want to try again and again to beat your last score, and I would really recommend you to give this a try. If you think you've got that kind of snobbiness about you, which I must admit I did. I like Euro games in general, so this kind of didn't really interest me. But I gave it a shot and I had a wonderful time, and it's staying in my collection, and I can see myself playing this quite a lot. So one that's definitely kind of, I think it deserves the kind of praise it's got because of its simplicity, because of that kind of aspect of, being so pure, but having that thing where, why didn't I think of this? Why didn't I design this? Because I don't know how this hasn't been thought of before. So overall, I enjoy the game. As I said, it's staying in my collection. A great family game, one that can kind of act as a great filler because it doesn't take too long. Anybody can play it. Nice and quick, always engaging. That's The Mind. So I really hope you've enjoyed this quick review of The Mind. If you have, please hit like and subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos too. For everyone else, I will see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye.